Goodbye over here, Suzanne. Goodbye, honey.
Goodbye, honey.
That's my sweet wife over there. Excuse me, Eli.
So you're modeling good habits on the relationship.
Suzanne, is she the greatest wife ever? Did you see I got another beverage over here?
Well, she's gorgeous and she's kind.
She's all those things. And you know what? We're getting ready to discuss sports and your relationship and whether or not somebody gets fixated on sports, Suzanne. So do you and your husband, do you ignore the Super Bowl?
Oh, heavens, no.
So you both participate?
Sure.
Mary will be right there pretending like she cares. But she likes Tom Brady. He's cute. She likes Eli Manning.
The big names, yeah.
What's that, Mary?
Peyton, not Eli.
You don't like Eli? Peyton's not in it.
I know.
Okay. Peyton will be hanging around, though, because his little brother's playing. I like when they do those cutaway shots of Peyton up in the skybox, and he's, you can feel, he's feeling it.
We were talking about siblings in the last second. You got to wonder what it's like when those two guys get behind closed doors, if they're really so sweet to each other like they are.
I thought that ESPN promo a few years ago was brilliant. It was Archie Manning. It was their parents, Archie and his wife, Eli and Peyton's mom, walking around on a tour. Did you see that?
Yeah.
At sports?
Yeah.
I don't even know they run that anymore, but I thought that was brilliant. Just because it's what little boys do when parents are enthralled with something and somebody's showing them around. And then here's the sculpture, and you're showing your parents, and what are little boys doing? Flicking each other's ears or kicking each other.
Yeah.
And of course, them as men, famous men. It was a funny idea, funny play on a real live concept. So anyway, here it is, Super Bowl. Oh, by the way, I didn't even reintroduce. Dr. Eli Karam is here. He's president-elect of the Kentucky
Association for Marriage and Family Therapy.
Although you don't have to be married to see a counselor, obviously, so you can talk to single or couples that are cohabitants, gay couples, anybody that's in a relationship that needs to
Correct. In fact, on a national basis, MFTs, marriage and family therapists, still see about 50% individuals. It's how they look at people in all their interpersonal, relational, systemic context. So what's going on at work, what's going on at home, school, if you're working with a family or a child or an adolescent. So, yeah, it's really a catch-all. It's a way of looking at people and their issues. But what happens, Terry, because it is the Super Bowl this weekend, a big weekend, very common complaint that comes into marriage and family therapist's office. He loves sports more than me. His sports addiction is taking over our relationship, and it causes lots of ill feelings in relationships. So, I don't know if you have a story in your own burgeoning
Well, I don't have a man cave. I know a lot of guys, this man cave thing came up 5 years ago, and then guys, they have their own place, or it's the man cave and there's sports, and that's a good place for you to go to if you want to be alone or whatever. But we watch different things. I mean, I watch Dancing with the Stars sometimes when there's even Monday Night Football.
Right, you're right.
Just depends.
You're right.
If my team is on, I'm more interested.
Right.
But I don't obsess on it.
So, but these feelings, you mentioned man cave, because it really feels like to the spouse of someone that is really heavily into sports, especially this time of year, it feels lonely, bored, emotionally disconnected. And for a lot of times, stereotypically, again, the man, they are enthralled. They are following their teams. They are monitoring it on the TV, on the internet. And 5 hours can seem like 5 minutes to them, a doubleheader, a tripleheader, and we're at Super Bowl weekend, but we won't be that long before we're in the conference tournaments and March Madness. So this is a very timely topic for many couples here in Louisville and around the country. So this idea of most people get polarized around this, and they say, well, you weren't like this before. And really, for most men, they've always had a passion for sports. It's just that they weren't cohabitating or they weren't married. And when you're around a person sporadically, especially in the early stages of a relationship, you don't maybe realize how much time they're spending on their hobby. So most men will say, no, I've always done this. So it's a combination of these successful relationships of a partner understanding why it's important to their spouse. And that spouse, in turn, modifying their behavior. So, there's nothing wrong with following your favorite team, having your favorite sports. But if you're not creating couple time, or what I call protected time, if you're not planning that out, it's one of these predictable fights that's going to happen. Go ahead. Indeed.
And then some guys get very carried away. If their team loses, then they're nasty to be around for another 24 hours.
Right.
Which was a whole separate issue.
A lot of spouses say, honey, I can tolerate you watching the game, but when they lose, you're horrible to be around the rest of the day. And you, like we say in the last statement, you debase me and you treat me bad and you don't want to be around the kids. So you're right. If you're really a diehard, it can affect the whole emotional climate of the family. What other spouses do, rather than saying, I'm feeling a little neglected or lonely here, honey. When are we going to, I know it's important for you to watch the game, but when are we going to have some time together? Instead of working on an adaptive strategy like that, a lot of spouses will deny or take this passive-aggressive mentality, denying sex, denying cooking a meal, or things they'd normally enjoy doing for their partner as a way to get even. And that's not good either. We'll see that a lot, kind of this silent war. Well, it's me or the game.
Because sooner or later that bomb explodes.
Oh, yeah. Sooner or later. So, because then, there's... maybe it's a different season, but I thought football was over. Yeah, but honey, but basketball is just kicking up. So, and a partner, if they don't see an end to it, their patience, even the most calm, understanding partner or spouse is going to get frustrated.
Well,
so
give guys a little bit of strategy. What can we do to be better partners when we do obsess on here comes the Super Bowl or March Madness?
Exactly. You want to first acknowledge that your partner, is patient and.
You mean verbally?
Exactly,
that?
Honey. I really appreciate it. I know a big game's on tonight, so acknowledging it that they're patient. But number 2, planning ahead. Make sure your partner knows when the next protected time is. Honey, I called the babysitter, and Friday night we're going out, and I'm taking you to Stony River Legendary Steaks.
I like that you called the babysitter.
That's right. So that's what I've done in preparation for next week. In fact, I got 2 straight Sundays lined up for my wife.
If only most guys could remember the babysitter's name.
That's
right.
That's
the thing.
The name and the number.
What's the name of that baby? What? How?
But we're joking about that. That makes all the difference. You actually contacting the babysitter versus your partner having to do it. That little step. Most guys think, well, as long as I'm paying for the babysitter, I got it covered. What does it matter who calls it? It makes a lot of difference if you actually take the step and initiate the child care if you have kids.
Yeah, and get the reservation for dinner on top of that, too. Or say we're going to see that movie you wanted to see. Not the movie I want to see, the movie you mentioned.
So, right, show appreciation. Be curious. A lot of couples have been together a long time. They lose curiosity for each other. So be curious about your partner's world. Find out about what that movie is or what that restaurant they want to go to. Another thing you can do, Terry, and this is why the Super Bowl really has something for everybody, because you can turn a sporting event into a social event, which a lot of spouses like. So you invite a couple couples over or some friends from the neighborhood that you would like to get better, know better. So you have something if the spouse, the social engagement, and your partner, usually the husband or the man, can focus on watching the game or bonding with his male buddies around their favorite team.
So DVR it and watch it later.
Yeah, or DVR and watch it later. But most men will not watch sports on DVR. There is
right, because you already know the outcome. Exactly. It's difficult. Lachlan McLean, the exception to the rule. All right, we got to jump here. Eli Karam is online at elikaram.com, Karam. Great talk to you again. We'll see you again.
See you in a few weeks, my friend.
Indeed. All right, back in a moment here on 84 WHAS.
Some teens have trouble just making it to graduation.